in some ways, we're probing at this idea of like, what does it take to be a good man within society? And I don't know if there's a classic definition that fits the Haverford man for here. I mean, it's got some of the ones that are traditional, like you need to be kind of strong, brave, honest, courageous, kind of like the Boy Scout motto, right? You get a credo that goes with that. But along with that, though, is there needs to be an emotional vulnerability, an ability to bond with other men, which is very important, and that men who leave this place with a sense of kinship with other men.
Though the Haverford school community is forward-thinking and self-aware, students rarely question the most significant trait of their school, the all-male environment. Single-sex education seems to have worked with generations of Haverford boys, but is it going to remain as a viable method for education in the future? This question is debated on a national level, and though it is not spoken about much at Haverford, people here frequently ponder it. We decided to explore the Haverford community for answers. First, is it true that a single-sex classroom environment provides less distraction?
My name is Manav Gamble.
How long have you been going to an all-boys school for?
I've been going to Haverford since first grade.
First grade. And how have you interacted with girls? When was the first time you started interacting with girls?
First time, I guess I went to a co-ed preschool. That's actually kind of the reason that my mom sent me to Haverford, is because she was nervous that girls would distract from education. I was a player in preschool that did hamper my ability to learn, actually. So that's why she sent me to Haverford.
This is a great school, and you learn a lot coming here. And you really notice it, like when you're sitting in class, you can tell that like we learn things that other kids do. So this school's really set us ahead.
Because we were just guys?
It's not that it was not even like the fact that it was single. Like I love going to an all-guys school. Like, it was cool being with guys. It's different in college, or it's just different the way you interact with people. But I don't regret it in any way.
I really don't think it makes a difference if there's girls or guys. I prefer all guys in high school. I just think it makes you, or allows you to become closer with the other guys. You're not really worrying about like what guys and girl relationships. You're not worrying about impressing girls or other guys trying to impress girls. There's not really like the competition between that. But what if these distractions are important? What if we are missing a critical perspective without females in the classroom? This was a hard question to answer in an all-boys school, so we first decided to find out how much different the classroom is to students with just one female in the room, the teacher.
I mean, on the most part, it's easier. I feel like it's easier to relate to a male teacher. You can say more things that may be borderline or crossing the line than with a female teacher. You always got to watch. You have to watch the mouth of every teacher, but really more so with a female teacher, just because. You just got to be mindful of that.
Does your guys' attitude change when you're in like a teacher that's a guy or a teacher that's a girl?
Yeah, I feel like realistically, a girl teacher you can mess with. Yeah, I was gonna say I think male teachers get respected for them.
Well, no, but it's the way that people say that women teachers don't. It depends on the class they teach. Just like
right, but as a whole, if you look at the amount of girl teachers,
Depends on the teacher. Like there's some
don't have less control over
It depends on who the teacher is.
But that's how they're young teachers.
Well, exactly. I don't know, just
yeah, but
still.
A young male teacher, a young female teacher, you're gonna give more respect to a young male teacher every time.
Why?
I don't know. It's kind of like
human nature.
You see him as like almost like contemporary of yours,
Like they can relate to you
on
a certain level.
And a young girl, like I don't know. You just,
To be honest, there's definitely a difference between a male teacher and a female teacher. I think that in a male teacher environment, everybody thinks that they understand each other, and then in a female teacher environment, we kind of have to act like more on our guard and everything, and what we say, watch what we say. It's a little more difficult to be in a female teacher classroom, especially in an all-boys environment, just because we're so used to having a male teacher knowing our side of life.
They use the word guarded, or they're being more careful.
In all disciplines?
In all disciplines.
So interesting. I can't say that I've observed a ton of male teachers at work, but as a department chair, I've observed several, and then just have visited casually other classes. And most is not that, but that the way male teachers can and do, like put their hand on the back of a student for encouragement, or like, it's often very rare and subtle, but just like any sort of physical touching, I've never seen it with a female teacher, and I've certainly never done it in the classroom. I mean, I'll give a hug when you get into Wake Forest early, right? But in terms of regular physical contact, it's something that I don't think many women would feel comfortable with. I'm very curious about what you're saying, that the boys kind of put up a guard.
I do find compared to, and I taught in Vermont, a co-ed public school student teaching experience, and then I taught in Harlem briefly, and both of those classrooms were co-ed, and I find that my students here are much more willing to share and much more, I suppose, much more attentive listeners and respectful of student opinion in the classroom, and I suppose some of that could be filtered or posed.
What about friends? Education is important, but social interaction is a huge part of life, and Haverford is supposed to prepare us for life. It's clear that friendships among Haverford boys are strong, but how about friendships with girls? How about relationships with girls?
I mean, of course, people have girlfriends. I've had girlfriends. I've had liaisons.
How long have you had your girlfriend for?
You had a draft pick, a German thing.
Probably a total of
Probably too long.
2 years. So we broke up during the summer last summer, but got back together. It's probably 2 years.
Why'd you break up?
Became too much, I don't know, a little immature. I was, so it became a little too much.
How do you see yourself interact? How have you seen yourself interact with girls? Like, after coming from all boys school for so long, was it a little bit? Is it difficult at points?
It's still difficult, especially having a girlfriend.
How so? Give me an example.
I mean, you just don't really know how to talk to them. It's difficult to. I mean, you just don't have the ability to hold a conversation for a long time. Some guys do, and some guys are really good at it, but a lot of guys don't know what to say or do with the girl, besides some sexual connotation.
Is it hard to maintain a relationship while going to a single-sex school?
Nah, I think it's actually easier because you don't see them all during the week. You don't get sick of them. Little petty fights are minimalized to maybe one day out of the weekend. But I mean, if I went to a co-ed school, I don't know if I would be able to have a relationship just because different things would have happened with her friends, with my friends. It just wouldn't have worked out.
So in terms of friendships and romantic relationships, do you think that going to a single-sex school has been an obstacle for you?
I'm going to say no, actually. And my answer actually is going to be kind of a little off the beaten path. I think that actually going to an all-boys school has fostered a very typical masculine attitude, and that is both a good and a bad thing. When it comes to human relationships, I found it's actually a good thing. I found that Haverford guys tend to be more outgoing, more socially fluid in many situations than people who go to public schools or co-ed schools, I should say, not even public schools, co-ed schools. And so I don't think that it's actually put me at any type of disadvantage at all.
I'm continuing to emphasize more interaction between young men and women, between our boys and the girls of Baldwin and Agnes Irwin, for instance, in the classroom, in academic pursuits, in film studies, in the human relationships class that we pioneered this past semester that we're looking to broaden. That in my dream, my vision, would be a graduation requirement, so that all of our boys not only understand how to interact with girls in a classroom environment, but also understand intellectually the process of relationship formation.
One of Dr. Nagel's big pushes since he's come here is actually to open up more avenues for men to sit and interact with women in a non-traditional setting, in which like you're not going to a party and meeting up, or that you guys are engaged in social activities. So thus, Miss Jennings and Dr. Gottlieb running that class together is great. In which you get sister schools. We're trying to do a movie club in which we're bringing Haverford men, women from Agnes Irwin and Baldwin together to watch movies. It seems low stakes, right? You're just like, well, okay, we're watching movies together. But it breaks the norm of the women in my life are categorized in 3 different categories, which is mother, if you have a sister, and possible girlfriend. And that the truth is that women can be many more roles for men than those 3 things.
Especially in middle school, when a lot of people sort of start out, you know, talking to girls, thinking about girls, they only have it as like that object, and you're not really going to an all-boys school exposed to girls of your same age in the same way as you are guys. And I think for a lot of people, yeah, like just seeing a girl as like a friend isn't the first way.
It's just you have a lot less like good friends who are girls. Like there's not like you don't have like a set group of girls that you like are your best friends. Usually you just hang out.
You're friends with girls for purposes, not necessarily to be friends with them.
Yeah. Do you think that's like a normal thing? Are you okay with that sort of relationship?
Somewhat. I mean that's like for all the girls' schools around here, that's their attitude too.
Yeah. Yes, we can't really forget that the Haverford School for Boys doesn't have girls. And we aren't hormone-filled teenagers. We're constantly thinking about girls.
And in the morning it's girls, 'cause in the evening it's girls. I like the way that they walk, and it's chilly hear them talk.
In order to gain the female student perspective on single-sex education, we decided to go to the Agnes Irwin School and ask the girls ourselves.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Ryan. I'm a senior at Agnes Irwin 2014. I guess I've gone to Irwin since 8th grade. I actually went here for kindergarten and 1st grade when I was little, and left and went to public school, Glenwood Elementary and Welsh Valley Middle School for a few years, and then came back in 8th grade and have been here since. My mother graduated from Irwin's class of 82, and my sister graduated class of 2011, so I have a lot of experience with the single-sex education system, as well as public school and co-education situation, if you will. I think one of the things that is definitely undisputable is the sense of community that we have, and I don't know whether that's a result of the bonding or the small class size, but I do think it's definitely affected by the no boys kind of situation, because you walk into a room and you're just like, these are all my friends, these are all my sisters. You walk into a room, you can say whatever you want, you don't matter how you look, you don't matter what you say, if you sound dumb, any question is fine because they're all these people that you're so comfortable with. However, I will say one of the things that I dislike about Irwin's, which I'm looking forward to about college, is there's kind of a sense of uncertainty, I guess, around boys. I'd say particularly in respects to my guy friends that go to like Haverford or even public school, I can't imagine them like doing work, which is funny, but like I can't imagine like my guy friends sitting down and writing a paper. I can't imagine discussing Tale of Two Cities with them, or I can't imagine like doing an integral with any of my guy friends in calculus, which is funny because I know that they can, and I hear them talking about these projects, and I'm just like, wait, you do work? Which I think is definitely a downfall.
So would you say that like not having guys as a distraction during school is like a big plus for school?
Yeah.
What is your interaction with guys if you don't go to school with them? Like, is it mostly just restricted to the weekends, or?
No, because I mean it depends. Like for SOS board, we did a lot of work with Haverford's SOS board or their community service board, so it was some like academic involvement with guys, but which was nice. But
I mean, it's definitely less or more restrictive compared to like if you had gone to a co-ed school.
Yeah, and then I did the human relationships class at Haverford, so that was like an educational environment during the week. Yeah, I thought it was really cool. And you did?
I did consortium, which was that, but on a smaller scale. And I thought it was fun to just be in like an educational environment with guys, just to see how it was different. It was definitely a different learning experience, but it was cool.
And teaching kids who are juniors and seniors in high school, what I really emphasize is kids' ability to speak for themselves, to have confidence in their ability to make an argument both in writing but clearly verbally. And I know from all these years of kids when they're in college coming back to school, they often say to me, Mr. Frank, you wouldn't believe it. I was in a seminar class, this is their freshman year in college, and they'll say, so few of the girls spoke up. And they'll say, when I went and asked who the other girls were and found out about them, they all went to single-sex schools too.
So, what does this mean for us? Well, not much. Yet. This is only a small episode into the larger conversation on single-sex education that needs to be had every year. From the looks, it seems that single-sex education still has something going for it. The friendships forged in the single-sex environment, coupled with the academic rigor that it enables, is a winning combination. Nevertheless, a partial perspective on class content hurts the system, and friendships between schools can be tricky to find. The system can certainly be improved, and is being improved month by month, by students, faculty, and Dr. Nagel, with events like movie nights and classes like human relationships. As long as Haverford continues to make holistic education its priority, the school will stay on track to future success. And that's all we know, boys.